since it is our news director's last morning with us before retiring from News Channel 9, we thought we'd switch things up, or actually throw things back.
Yeah, how about this? If you were awake during the daybreak era, viewers may remember Spags on Sports. There were even T-shirts made, so you know you're a big deal when you have your own T-shirt. So without further ado, here's Spags on Sports.
We start with Monday Night Football. Our very own Ryan Dean leading the Bengals out of the tunnel against the Cowboys, but Dallas goes down. Let's hope I don't botch this cast like the Cowboys botched a fourth quarter punt. 3 plays later, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow connects with Jamar Chase, a 40-yard score. Cincy gets the win 27-20. CBA football players were met with a packed gym at school this week. Football team heading down the halls as state champs after a dramatic Hail Mary win at the Dome on Saturday night. Take a look at this. CBA will be honoring the team today. The brothers have 3 players who've committed to play for the Orange next year. Speaking of the Orange, on the SU Hill tonight, SU men's basketball team back in action. Adrian Autry's squad looking for a little bit of luck after Saturday's loss against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Tonight, the Orange take on UAlbany inside the Dome. Tip-off is at 7. You can watch the game on ESPN2. Kate will have another check of that forecast when we come back.
Well, in honor of our news director, Jim Campagna's last day, he's joining us for the question of the day, his favorite segment on the morning
Normally
news.
I'd be texting
Yeah,
you.
text me all the answers. Usually the wrong answers. No, I'm just playing. So we had one request for his last question. It had to be sports-themed in 1970s music hits. So
that's a tall order.
That's a tall order for our producer.
Yeah, I thought about this.
All right. So we are asking, a brawl at an MLB game led to the production of which 1970 hit? Now, you don't know the answer. You're just going to guess here.
Yeah, war was probably about the Vietnam War.
Yeah, agreed.
American Woman, guess who was, they were Canadian, Burton Cummings, them. Now, looking out my back door, CCR, John Fogerty did center field. Baseball fan.
So possibly.
And 25 of 624, I thought that was like a drug, psychedelic type song.
Oh, that was my guess. Jeez.
So I'm going to go with C.
Oh,
whoa, wait a minute.
Wait, 0% agrees with you.
Oh, really?
Oh!
Wow.
I thought about it too much. What my favorite group, you know, she asked me what my favorite group was, and I said Chicago.
All right.
So that it was,
Yeah.
We're going to have much more on Jim when we come back. Quite the open. Well, welcome in if you are just joining us. We are having a melancholy morning. That's because our news director here, Jim Campagna, is retiring.
Yeah, after a decades-long career here at News Channel 9, I think you've done just about every job, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. But
Except
more,
for weather.
Except for weather.
Except for
I'll
weather.
give you that opportunity if you want. It's fine by me. But you know, most importantly, you've been a leader. You've been a friend to everyone in the newsroom, and that is invaluable.
But before you say goodbye, we found it only fitting that the man who hired you is the same man to welcome you into retirement. Here's our very own Dan Cummings.
It started with a memo from a former news director, which once upon a time was me. May 13th, 1990 would be the first of many mornings, days, nights, and every hour in between for Jim Campagna.
He's given up holidays, weekends, worked all hours of the day. Still now, he comes in overnights and produces, fills in for shifts.
Our now news director began his career at News Channel 9 as a reporter.
While these folks walking the picket line say their walkout will have a long-term impact on what happens inside Loretto, the longer this walkout, the greater the impact on consumers.
Plus a producer.
This is News Channel 9 Daybreak.
And sometimes a sportscaster.
With the start of the Syracuse football season about 3 weeks away, the SU upperclassmen report to school yesterday to officially kick off their preseason.
We had him do Spags on Sports. Hilarious. Great sportscaster, but you never saw his face.
He may have been a rare sight on your screen, but for a decade before diving into television, Spags, as we say, could be heard over local radio waves way back when.
Good morning. I'm Jim Campagna with a WFBL Sports Update.
I think everyone, especially everyone who worked at WHEN, really love radio is our first love.
A labor of love leading Jim to our studios here on Bridge Street, but also another calling, in the classroom.
So I believe I was in Jim's very first sportscasting class at OCC. I never watched more ESPN in my life, and I didn't open a single book.
For years, Jim stood at the front of the classroom before stepping into the front of the newsroom.
I was not sure what it was going to be like having him as a news director because he's so nice. And every news director I ever worked for was really tough.
He really began to develop an understanding of what people wanted, what was news. No one would be able to compete with Jim on his news judgment.
If we're being honest, you and I both know your biggest accomplishment, and that was putting me on Money in Your Pocket Minute. Monday mornings with Jim was always interesting.
We worked a long time together in the control room. It's usually just controlled chaos. We had a good time. We always got things done.
He couldn't spell. He would leave words out, and the copy, we'd look at the prompter and go, what the heck is he talking about?
I'm sorry.
That laughter providing a light on the darkest of days.
We got one in custody. We got an officer down. We need another officer here. Hurry.
From heartbreaking breaking news to persevering through a pandemic.
It's here, it's in our community, so everyone really need to hunker down.
And even when the world came to a standstill, Jim made sure the news never stopped.
If you have anyone in a hospital or if you're in a hospital watching this, you're going to be okay.
And okay we were. Even when most were mandated to stay home, crews under Campagna's direction brought coverage you could count on.
I'm Storm Team meteorologist Jim Teskey. Very little snow in Syracuse today, but a different story here in Sandy Creek.
Oh, Lord, please. I mean, the car was just rocking back and forth.
To give you a sense of how strong the winds were, take a look at this piece of metal.
No serious injuries, which is amazing when you see the damage here.
But of course, there was never a better story than SU Sports.
They're screaming, they're dancing in Syracuse, and the Orangemen are the champions of college basketball.
That's the highlight of Jim's career. We got Anna!
From the sidelines to behind the scenes, no matter the story, Jim was Central New York's biggest cheerleader.
He's always going to be watching the news, reading the newspaper.
He definitely earned his keep, that's for sure. You'll never find another guy, I think, like that.
That's the big cheese. And Jim, now that you're retired, you can ditch that shirt and tie and go to the quarter zip every single day for the rest of your life. You have my permission. One of the best hires I ever made. And I want to leave you, buddy, with the same advice you gave me exactly 3 years ago.
Enjoy retirement. Someone once said it's underrated.
Well, how about that? Yeah. Well, I may not have opened a single book at OCC when I had Jim as a teacher, but you definitely have left your mark on inspiring young journalists to become journalists. So that's why we have a very special message from the OCC president.
We're excited. We know you taught here in the past at OCC, and we're excited to welcome you back to teach in your retirement. We know that in retirement, one of your new jobs will be being a grandfather to those grandkids. So we have something for you and those grandkids from Onondaga Community College. Congratulations again, and wishing you much success in your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you
Can I
go.
tell you a funny story?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I had lunch with Roger and Sue Tormey, Dan Cummings, and Mila, my granddaughter will be 2. Alyssa, we knew Alyssa was expecting, she's due in February. Jamie and Kelly, we didn't know at the time, or they didn't know at the time, were we're expecting. So we're going to have 3, but when we had lunch, they only knew about 2. So we're going
we need some more.
OCC baby gear.
Roger Mirabito, who I love, emailed me. He goes, what is sex, boy, girl? And I go, well, we got 3 now, not 2. When we had lunch, we had 2. A week later, we'll have 3. So Alyssa's due in February. I'm sorry. Alyssa's due in February, and Alyssa and Paul and Jamie and Kelly are due in June.
What better time
so
to
3
retire
under the age of 2.
It better be June 7th.
Well, it is the first week of June, yes.
All right.
Kate and I share the same birthday.
One more message for you.
Yes.
You've gotten gifts, you've heard from your coworkers and your friends, but there's one more thing.
Yeah, before we boot you out the door, you know you left your mark when America's most watched news anchor knows your name.
Jim, I just wanted to say from all of us here at ABC's World News Tonight, congratulations on your retirement after almost 50 years covering news in Central New York, including more than 30 years right there at News Channel 9. We want to thank you for your partnership over the years with us here at ABC. Of course, I remember you there when I was a young reporter in Syracuse. I wish you a healthy and happy retirement. You've earned it. Congratulations.
Thank you. The folks at ABC are great. I deal with a lot of people behind the scenes, and they're fantastic. But everybody here is great. And thank
Love
you.
you, Jim.
Love
we
you guys.
love you.
Love you.
We'll be right back. All right, before we let you go, our news director, Jim Campagna, is retiring, and he would like to say some parting words to you.
Many people cannot say they worked in a profession they grew up wanting to work in. For that, I was one of the lucky ones. I'd like to thank the viewers of News Channel 9. Sorry, most loyal viewers in Central New York. All my coworkers, especially the last 9 years as news director, thank you. Hardest working men and women not only care about their craft, but truly care about the community they served. And finally, my family, Lucille, Alyssa, Jamie, Paul, Kelly, Mila. You put up with a lot of hours, strange hours, holidays, phone calls, text message during family events, dinners, but you knew that was part of the job. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Your next update is at 7:23. For news and weather anytime, log on to localsyr.com. Have a great day.
We love you.
We love you.
Love you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. And you know what's going to be interesting? Not texting you anymore at 4 o'clock in the morning asking questions.
Oh,
we still can.
Well, you can't ask me questions. You can text me anytime.
And Jim grew up in Lincourt.
Yes.
And so we're going to leave you
Lincourt
favorite spots.
Grabbing a donut for you too.
We'll see.
Morning, Jim. I'm not here for an interview, by the way. But I am here for you. So, obviously, your last day is tomorrow, and we're all going to miss you. But you've been such a great gift to this community, and we felt that it was appropriate to honor you in a way that we honor those that are most special and most impactful in our community. So, on behalf of the county executive and I've brought this proclamation, and I'm going to read it now. The proclamation reads, whereas Jim Campagna is retiring from a career of more than 45 years in broadcasting in his home community of Central New York. And whereas Jim was hired at News Channel 9, then WIXT-TV, in 1990, and has served as the news director of News Channel 9 WSYR-TV since 2015. And whereas Jim is a proud native of Lincourt, the son of Anthony and Conchetta Campagna. And whereas Jim is a graduate of the Lincourt Central School District and North Syracuse High School, Onondaga Community College in 1979, and State University of New York at Oswego in 1981. And whereas Jim and his wife Lucille raised their children, Alyssa and Jamie, who, with their spouses, have given Jim the title of grandfather. Most important title, right? And whereas Jim, as a professor at Onondaga Community College, spent countless hours teaching and mentoring young journalists, recruiting and guiding budding talent, many of whom owe him a debt of gratitude for their own successful broadcasting careers. And whereas Jim is a steward of broadcast excellence, an old school journalist rooted in responsibility, ethics, sensitivity, and local pride. And whereas Jim's journalistic leadership has earned his news team numerous prestigious recognitions, including from the Syracuse Press Club and New York State Broadcasters Association, and Emmy Awards from the New York chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Science, and Edward R. Murrow Awards from the Radio, Television, Digital News Association, including the 2023 honors of Overall Excellence and Best Newscast. And whereas Jim holds many other titles and accolades, including a good neighbor, a father figure to young staff members, a longtime season ticket holder of the Syracuse Orange football program, an avid Syracuse Chiefs and Mets fan, and a lawn care perfectionist.
Never mow on Mondays.
Right. And whereas today we celebrate Jim's retirement after a storied career in Central New York. Now, therefore, I, Ben Walsh, on behalf of J. Ryan McMahon II, County Executive of the County of Onondaga, and myself, Mayor of the City of Syracuse, do hereby proclaim the day of the 11th day of December 2024 to be Jim Campagna Day in Onondaga County in the City of Syracuse. Congratulations. That's for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.